Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of This Week in Magic Online Finance. I'm your host, Chaz Andres, and as always, let's get started with the news. Now, you might think that the biggest story this week might be the Mythic Championship, or perhaps the reveal of the mystery boosters, but honestly, neither of those things is going to end up being all that impactful in the world of Magic Online Finance. The mystery boosters, well, they're probably going to end up being a tabletop-only product, and as for the Mythic Championship, it was basically just a big old banner reading Ban Oko, and you know, we've known that was coming for weeks at this point. For us, the biggest piece of news we need to consider were the Pioneer bannings that came out last Monday. WotC said they were going to take an aggressive stance on this format, and boy howdy, they were not kidding. Felidar Guardian got banned, which was probably to be expected, but we also lost Oath of Nissa and Leyline of Abundance. Yeah, if you saw Leyline of Abundance as a Pioneer relevant card when the format first started, much less one of the first cards to get banned, raise your hand and give yourself a pat on the back, because I sure didn't, and nobody I knew did either. I'm not even sure I knew what that card actually did before I saw it see play in Mono Green Devotion, but yeah, that deck was too good and the Leyline went. At any rate, Leyline of Abundance has only lost a couple of tickets so far, but you can expect that trend to continue and deepen. This card isn't really going to see play anywhere else, it is going to be a bulk rare yet again. The same is true for Saheeli Rai. The card was a bulk rare before Pioneer was announced, climbed up to 6 tickets about a week and a half ago, and now it's down to about 2 tickets and continuing to drop. It will be bulk yet again. Same is true, unfortunately, for Oath of Nissa. The card was 5 tickets last week, got banned, it's under 2 now, and that's going to be bulk again as well. The key lesson here is that the bans are going to keep coming. They're going to be coming every single Monday from now on, and cards are going to keep dropping in price when they do. If you've invested in a deck that gets banned in Pioneer, you should be selling the banned cards immediately, even for a significant loss, because these cards are all going to fall off into the bulk rare range once they are banned, unless they see significant play in some other format as well. Normally I'd say, hold on for the long haul and wait and see if there might be some unban hype, but honestly, a couple of years from now, by the time we're ready to say, hey, maybe it's time to, let Oath of Nissa free, well, we don't even know where we'll be playing Pioneer. It might not be on Magic Online, so I'm just going to wash my hands of these banned cards for now. Of course, there are still more cards climbing in price due to Pioneer than dropping in price due to Pioneer, and that brings us to our next segment, Gaining Ground. And the card that gained the most ground in Pioneer this week was, yet again, Nexus of Fate for the second straight week. It saw another massive surge, 20 more tickets climbing from 27 all the way up to 47. This is after a peak at about 52 tickets late last week, but 47 is still incredibly high for a card that I honestly still think is going to be banned in Pioneer before the new year. So yeah, I was definitely too early last week when I said that you should sell Nexus into the hype and the ban fears, but I still think I was on the right track. Nexus of Fate decks are currently the 3rd most popular decks in Pioneer, and by far the most popular combo deck. It's possible this one is, just fair enough, and WotC will let it slide and let it be a part of the format forever, but honestly, I think the chances of that happening are kind of unlikely, and regardless, I don't really want to have any of my money tied up in a 50-ticket combo card that's one long Wizards of the Coast lunch away from being 5 tickets again, so I'm selling this one. Now, before we move on, I also want to give an honorable mention to Field of the Dead, which gained almost 20 tickets this week as well. Late last week, it was an 8-ticket card, and now it is up to 28. And yeah, that's because Field of the Dead combo is now a part of things in Pioneer as well. And of course, this card is in low supply because it's from M20, and who drafted M20, especially on MTGO? Certainly not me, and probably not most of the people we know. Anyway, this card has a lot of the same problems that Nexus of Fate does. It's, a combo card from a problematic deck that WotC may or may not be allowing to stay in the format for long. But this card is surging past the 30 ticket mark right now. It will likely go higher, And, you know, it's got some room to run. If you think that Nexus of Fate is a safe $50 card, this one might be too. So, yeah, definitely pick this one up if you think you want to play this deck anytime soon, but I'm going to stay off this wild ride, as I usually do with cards that are spiking too far too fast. Let's move over to Modern now, where we actually did have a legitimate Modern gainer this week in Mishras Bauble, which jumped about 5 tickets from 15 up to 20. Of course, this is just the card regaining about half of the ground it lost since its post-Pioneer slump. It was 25 tickets or so before Pioneer, now it's at 20, and honestly, I really don't think that this one is going to continue gaining ground right now. The Modern Index at large doesn't seem perfectly ready for a rebound. I think we've still got a couple of weeks to go, but this price increase does say something about this card, and specifically which decks are doing well in Modern right now. It's a lot of the Grixis Wurza and, you know, Paradoxical Outcome Urza. It's those decks, and they do need Mishras Bauble to function properly. So you may want to buy this one right now. Honestly, when the Modern Index does rebound, this is probably going to be one of the cards leading the charge. Let's move on now to our biggest loser, where in Pioneer it was Liliana the Last Hope, dropping about 10 tickets from 30 down to 20. And honestly, this drop is simple. Liliana hasn't done a ton in Pioneer yet. This card was 4 tickets before the format was announced, and then everyone thought it would be the next big thing, so it jumped to 30, and the play it's seen has not justified that 30-ticket price tag. I do think that this card may rebound in the future. For example, if a deck like Sultai Control ends up being one of the format's answers after another few waves of bannings, but for now you can expect this card to keep on dropping. It's not going to get back down to 4 tickets or anything, but even 20 is probably still high for a card that isn't seeing a ton of play in the format yet. Let's move over to Modern now, where it appears at least some of the Modern cards, especially some of the Modern Horizon staples, have finally reached their post-Pioneer lows. For example, the biggest loser of the week in Modern this week was Force of Negation yet again, but it only dropped about 6 tickets this week from 46 down to 40, and it does appear to have actually stabilized at that 40 ticket mark. And yeah, it might keep dropping, but remember, this card was as high as 85 tickets as recently as mid-October, so over the past 3 weeks, it's lost more than half of its price tag. Honestly, at this point, Force of Negation feels like a pretty safe buy to me. I do expect Modern to rebound at some point this year, and when it does, this card will be one of the cards that rebounds the highest. So if you've been holding out on Force of Negation, sort of waiting for my go-ahead, this is it. You can buy in now around the 40 ticket mark. Now the sneak of the week this week is Sorin Imperious Bloodlord, a standard legal card that was about 6 tickets before Pioneer was announced. It's up to 20 now and continuing to shoot through the roof. If you weren't paying attention to Standard over the summer, Sorin was one of the most oppressive and powerful Standard cards. It's a 3-mana Planeswalker. It is quickly becoming one of the pillars of Pioneer. So, if this mono-black Vampires deck continues to do well, you can expect this card to end up around the 30 or 40 ticket mark. I definitely buy in now if this is the kind of deck you want to play, because Sorin is absolutely the real deal. Let's end the week by taking a look at the MTGO Trader sales data over the past 7 days. And as always, this gives us a great idea of which cards are buying and selling the best right now, regardless of price increases or decreases. Looking at overall sales by volume, Wild Slash was the best-selling card of the week, other than basic lands. Now, this Fate Reforged Uncommon is the go-to burn spell across multiple decks in Pioneer, and it's skyrocketing in price in Paper Magic as we speak. It was a bulk card before the format was announced. It's up to $3.50 now, heading toward the $5 mark easily. Magic Online, uncommons tend to not be worth as much, but you can still pick up this card for about half a ticket, and you probably should. Don't know how high it can go, but this is a clear format staple. It is worth more than half a ticket. You should have at least a couple of sets in your profile. In terms of overall sales by price, Oko and Teferi dominated the week despite financial losses. Both cards were by far the best-selling cards of the week, but if you look at their price charts, it's sort of a slow and steady drop. Both cards lost about 5 tickets in value this week. What this tells me, and we've seen this happen in the past, is that these cards can rebound on a dime. At some point, they may just, shoot up 10 or 15 tickets. So if you're holding, if you're getting worried about Oko and Teferi, I'd just keep holding. These cards are very good in Pioneer, and even though I think Oko will be banned in Standard sooner rather than later, I expect both cards at some point in the future will be worth more than they are right now. And that's all I've got for you this week. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Chaz Andres, and I will see you again next Monday morning for another episode of This Week in Magic Online Finance.